A long time coming, but what is actually in this post-Brexit trade deal? Let's open up the insides. Well, of course, defence was the name of the game. That was what was on the headlines of the meeting, why we're seeing this summit at Lancaster House in London in the first place. The Prime Minister wanted access to the €150 billion rearmament fund that the EU has set up in the wake of Donald Trump's election in the US and, of course, in the context of the invasion of Ukraine. That has been secured by the Prime Minister. The UK will be contributing a bit of money to that rearmament fund, but UK defence companies will also be able to win contracts from that fund. It's expected to be a positive gain for the United Kingdom. But what else has been agreed? Well, let's move on to those British fisheries. It's argued that we had to give away a lot on fish to win on defence. Clearly, this is an issue that I think it's pretty unanimous the EU has won on. Yes, 12-year access. Up until 2038, the EU will be able to have privileged access to UK fishing waters. As a coastal state, of course, the UK has a wealth of fish. The UK was meant to get full control over it next year as part of Boris Johnson's agreement. Well, now that's being extended by a further 12 years. But much else indeed. E-gates is a win for the British government. This is going to be one of the most totemic issues of this deal, not because it's huge economically, but because voters will feel it when they go on holiday. 70% of people go on holiday to Europe when they travel abroad, and so these e-gates being the norm across the EU, being able to go in the EU queue, not the rest of the world queue, will be a big win for this government. Worth noting though, certain EU countries already let the UK go in their e-gate queue, notably Portugal, England's oldest ally. What else was in this deal? Well, let's have a look at the next side, the food regulations. It's hard to argue which side thinks they have won on this. The Prime Minister thinks he has won on being able to export British food more easily. Burgers and sausages, the Prime Minister mentioned in that press conference, but there's a price. And that price is that Britain becomes a rule taker on food. We'll have to, in perpetuity, take EU rules and apply them to our farmers. One final thing to note, it hasn't taken a lot of press coverage, but energy. Energy is part of this deal too. This deal commits the UK to exploring joining the EU energy market, and that also means dynamic alignment, another area where the UK would take rules from the EU and where the EU could set taxes in the UK.
Well, thank you, Ursula.